Hello and welcome to the Ventura Rock Spot. I'm Jeff Donovan and I'll be your host. The Ventura Rock Spot is a monthly program featuring original musicians from or traveling through Ventura, California. Please be sure to check out the website at VenturaRockSpot.com, where you can see all the past episodes or learn about becoming a featured artist yourself. If you're ever wondering what's going on with the music scene in Ventura, please be sure to check out VenturaRocks.com for all the latest information. So on this episode, we have with us Louie Cruz Beltran. Thanks for being with us, Louie.
It's nice to be here. Good to see you, John.
So listen, let's just start right off. You've been a professional musician for quite a while now. Yep. And for those of our viewers who are not familiar with your work, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and where this journey's taken you?
Well, Jeff, I got started, probably the initial point was with at home. My mother was a great singer, and she would have us sing. My brothers, I have a large family, and we used to sing, and she'd catch us singing in unison, and she would scold us. She said, "No, we harmonize in this home." So she taught us early to develop harmony and singing, first, second, third, and even added some other cool cultural stuff that I had never heard before. But it's been helpful in my career. But I eventually started playing professionally, probably when I was around 19 or 20 years old. And then I got a tour to go to Los Angeles. I picked up a tour there. Sergio Mendez's conga player turned me on to an audition. 2 weeks later, I was on Wilshire Boulevard getting my passport, and I was traveling all over the world playing percussion. Had the opportunity to go to the School of Percussion in Paris, France, and studied. I was not a student, so to say, but I was an invited guest. And I met a lot of great world international drummers, from tabla drums to conga drums, the djembe, all of them. So that's been kind of my history, along with playing concerts, all my life practically.
Right. Okay, great. Well, Liz, on that note, why don't we take a look at one of your videos and we can familiarize the audience with your work. This one is one of your originals called Mueve Mueve. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mueve Mueve, which means move it.
All right. Well, let's play that now, and after it's done, we can get a little detail on it afterwards. So,
all right, sounds good.
All right, here we go.
Mueve, mueve, mi señora. Mi viejita está bailando. Parece que algo está quebrando. ¡Oh! Mueve, mueve la cintura. ¡Vaya! Cuando bailan esa rumba. Mueve, mueve la cintura. ¡Cómo! Cuando bailan esta rumba. Ay, bonita, mi chulita. Mueve, mueve la cintura tan bonita. Yo te canto, mamá buena, cuando tú lo sueltas. Mueve, mueve la cintura. Cuando bailas esta rumba. Mueve, mueve la cintura. Cuando bailas esa rumba, baila.
All right. Well, that was really great. Really enjoyed that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, about the video and how that came to be, or the song or the music?
Well, Mueve Mueve, which means move it, is a upbeat montuno, what we call montuno in Cuban rhythm, Caribbean rhythm. It's a style that allows the pianist to do solos, very much jazzy and incorporating all the various types of progression and chords. The rhythm, of course, is done in a mixture of a songo, tumbao, and all these names may be familiar to you because I know you're a musician. You might be very aware of them, but a lot of people, I wish I could explain, play them for them in person, and I hope to do that someday. But that's the rhythm that I'm doing, and everyone is kind of like in this groove, in this clave groove, which is a different clave, which is American clave is more or less 4/4. The Latin salsa clave is usually in 3/2 or 2/3. But it is done in a 4/4 pattern, and that pattern takes 2 measures to complete. So the music is based upon rhythm, the tumbao, as I mentioned earlier, and it's one of the many styles of music that I do when I do my shows. I do, the rock, the R&B and rock stuff by Santana and stuff by Tito Puente, and all of the great percussionists, Ray Barreto, Willie Bobo, Herbie Hancock, great Latin jazz artists, Poncho Sanchez and Pete Escovedo and Sheila E., some of their tunes. They are very dear friends of mine. And so I incorporate my rhythm and that. And I think that song right there would be perfect, especially you being a guitarist. You probably could have done some really nice licks in that tune.
Yeah.
It would sound like a...
I really like the song, but your point actually brings me to my next question. So, you're most well known for Latin jazz. But I know that you're fluent with other genres and specifically how they're connected together. So can you talk a little bit on that?
But R&B, rock and roll, country, which I love all that style, and that kind of music made me have to do what many artists have done when they are, so in love with a certain style and genre, like I was with Latin jazz and salsa music. I had, in order to satisfy my wallet a bit, I had to go ahead and follow and mixing the rock and roll and the jazz and the reggae music with the rhythms and the style that I had. And it's been working very well. I was actually been pretty much employed for the last 35, 40 years, so I'm doing all right. That was a good decision.
Does anything stand out about you, Ventura? Why do you like playing out here so much?
Well, I think it's, it's really cool because I love the weather, of course.
We have great weather, yes.
Yeah, you do. The beach is right there. The evenings are nice. And I have a lot of relatives in Santa Barbara area, so it's close, and we kind of meet there halfway, and we have a great time. It's more of a family reminiscent place for me. So I love playing there. And then on top of it, I get to do concerts there, and I've enjoyed it very much so. So nice. It's a really, I like the people there too. They are very receptive to an eclectic kind of attitude, the art, the music, the whole style of Ventura really turns me on, man. I like it out there.
That's great. That's great. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the creative process, about how you work when you're writing a song. Do you start with the lyrics and go with the music, or you go with the music first and then come up with the lyrics, or is it different every time?
What came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Well, it's very difficult to answer that question, but the majority of times my music is based on some of the very slight nuances of the percussion has notes, believe it or not. And for some reason, it just seems to allow me to write melodies, and I get the melody from the percussion and the feel that I want. And then I start to create the verses, start to organize the composition in terms of the A, B parts, whether I'm going to modulate or do a bridge, doing some percussion breaks. So all of that is, it begins with either a picking up a voice or a chord or progression from anyone. It could be Bach, it could be Chopin, it could be anybody from George Harrison, the Beatles, to the Who, Kiss, whatever I'm listening to. What I usually do is I have my pianist or someone that has an instrument like a guitar or something like that, and we'll develop it upon my direction.
Right.
I'll call out the chords or what I'm feeling and so forth. And there are cases when I will have it co-written with someone, or they understand that it is all original ideas and concept come from me, as most of my music is.
Right. Okay. Well, on that note, we got another video for our viewers, and this one actually features a little bit of a percussion solo in the beginning of it. And I think that they will completely understand just what you were talking about when you say you hear the notes in your percussion. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that video and how that came to be?
Well, I lost about 200 calories on that song. Okay, that was a tough one, man. But this particular song is a montuno, what we call descarga, which is created as a kind of a jam session, but organized. It's not just play whatever you want. In the beginning, I'll do a little format of percussion riffs and showing speed and showing the development and all of the various types of rudiments that are involved in the Afro-Cuban drum. So I'll do that. And that's usually called, that section is usually called Diana. We call it Diana in the Cuban style, where the percussion comes in and there's little chanting and talking and calling out. That's what it is. You're calling out all the other percussionists in your neighborhood, and that's the idea of the song. The Diana is la 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 la. A lot of that style was interpreted kind of commercially by Ricky Ricardo, Desi Arnaz, Babalu, and he did his little thing,
I grew up with that.
Oh, see, I'm home, and all that kind of stuff. It was he actually influenced and helped to develop a lot of understanding of music. It was more, a lot of it was commercial and very, very stylized, but it was a style too that he also incorporated in there that was very legit. He was a very good musician. He was a great entertainer.
Yeah.
And Lucille Ball and Desi, they did a wonderful thing as far as, once again, artists bring together people in this world. It showed that, a Latino and a Anglo woman can actually have a beautiful relationship and have the art form involved, the music, the laughter, the being able to exist showed America, this is what we're really all about. America really should be like this. We shouldn't consider, what our ethnic background is, but that we're Americans and we come from various types of backgrounds, and it's all cool. We put it together, and it is really a great salad.
Oh, great. So, I want to move on to another aspect of your career, which is that you've been active in teaching and hosting workshops for the youth.
Well, Jeff, the passion and the inspiration comes from as I grew a little bit more mature in music and life. And, musicians tend to have to focus a lot. They don't have to, but a lot of us tend in our young years tend to be very self-focused in many ways because we're writing our own stuff. We want to get out there. There comes a time when you start to, evaluate and do your inventory of life. And I started to take note of the people that helped me in my career. And I decided that I would love to go to some of these schools. I was invited to do concerts. That's how it started. I was going to universities and colleges and elementary schools. And I was noticing that the arts programs were diminishing. And it was really sad. And at one stage, I went in the back and they had all these music books and music stands and instruments full of dust. They had canceled out the music department. And I thought that was just devastating. Sure. And it inspired me to want to get involved. I actually, to make a long story short, if it's not too late, is that people in the curriculum started to ask me if I would be interested in doing some of these workshops and going to the schools, the target areas like South Central, East Los Angeles, and I would go there and clandestinely I would teach, because if you go in as a teacher, it could be kind of boring. But the good thing about the ambassadors of musicians and artists in the school system to teach our young children discipline and so forth is that we allow them they will listen and pay attention because we have an art form. So when I take my congas, and my percussion, and I show the relationship, as I mentioned earlier about Ricky and, well, I should say Desi and Lucille, what our relationship in music is. Did you know some of the Black students, I would look at them, did you know that a lot of this music comes from Mexico and from Puerto Rico, and they speak Spanish, and just like here, what, yes, and did you know the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans and the Europeans, all of us here in this class, that a lot of our music comes from Africa? So it brings together this whole concept that we start to realize that we have a lot in common rather than things that we don't have in common. And I like to capitalize on that subject. And it works very well. And I love doing it. And I continue to do it.
How long have you been doing it?
Oh, my gosh. I think my hair was just about starting to turn gray. A long time ago, doing it for many years. Yeah.
Well,
I would say 15, 20 years, out there working with kids and developing, this relationship, racial tension, going in these places with music,
Right.
Our instrument, our weapons are music.
Universal language. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
great. Okay, another topic is you've been stuck in this pandemic along with the rest of us. And how has that affected you, your performances? How have you been keeping busy during all of this?
It hasn't affected me personally. I've never come down with the COVID. However, it has affected my family. Has not had it, thank God. And but some friends and musicians that I knew are no longer with us because of it.
Right.
And so I'm deeply in condolences to all those families and all the people that have lost their lives with this. And I think that what we're doing right now and slowly coming back to it, it's a good thing. But the time that I had off, not actually out there performing, allowed me to spend a lot of time, again, analyzing my life, my music, my family, and it has helped me in that way. Something about human beings, if we really stop to think about it, we can take a tragedy and turn it into something that seems to be a little bit more adaptable. Musicians have a tendency to take stuff like the blues, and write beautiful songs, take beautiful Latin music and folk music from the Appalachians, from everywhere. You get the folk people singing, and it lifts them. And it's given me a time to do a lot of self-analyzation and writing a lot of music,
Right.
and spending time with my family and other musicians. We talk a lot and we write together, and we've been taking advantage of this time.
Right. Are you back playing now in live performances? That is slowly coming back, and
It's been a musical drought for me because of this, totally understandable, but I should be back working again. And I keep my prayers that they don't call in the last minute and say, how that can happen. And
Yeah.
it happened to me in the past. I was supposed to do a concert in Pasadena, some stuff in Ventura and so forth, that had to call me and let me know. I got the news that we got to hold off. So
yeah, we had the same predicament with my band, is that nobody quite knew when it was going to end, and we had gigs booked, and they kept calling us and saying, well, sorry, we have to reschedule or cancel this one. So yeah, it's been kind of a trying time, but
it's allowed me to go online, and also some of the students that I had that I didn't have time to actually get into the percussion and teaching them the various rhythms. This time allowed me to do it more on video and Zoom with students.
Right.
So in that way, I make a living, keeping it going that way.
Right.
And other ways too. I write music for other people, and so it's been an uphill, but it's kind of like I've found the best to pull out of it too. So
Right.
this is the way we do it, man. When we have to, we find a way out.
Yeah. So along with your music, I understand that you also do some comedy.
It's not that I do comedy. My mother used to tell me when I was a young man and I was interested, and she knew I was getting interested in the entertainment field, music. She stressed to me that the vaudeville experience and how that whole era was about people dancing, singing, playing an instrument, doing a variety of things, and having yourself prepared in case someone calls you, that you're ready for anything. So it brought to my attention that I need to learn how to do a variety of things. I was very touched by Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, and all the great comedians in our time.
Yeah.
So I guess as an artist, we look at the timing and the rhythm of everything that we perceive. And so I saw a lot of that in there, and I said, I'm going to try that. I think it's something that I need when I go and do gigs. I should have some one-liners or some funny stuff, to kind of go in between the songs, because sometimes, something happens, a string breaks or something happens. So I just fell into that. And in some ways, it's been working for me, and so I don't stop doing it. It's just something I do naturally now, and it's just part of my show. But it doesn't interfere with the music, man. They work together.
Right. All right, great. Well, listen, where can our viewers find you online?
Jeff, you can go to www.Louie Cruz Beltran, and Louie is spelled Louie. And that's the way it's on there. It's LouieCruzBeltran.com. And all of my stuff and music, there's all of these various outlets that you can go to. You know how these computers are.
Right.
I'm not too savvy on computers. I just got used to the ballpoint pen, man. So it's something that I don't really know how to explain sometimes. But they can find my stuff there. I have a lot of information, and they should enjoy it.
All right.
I have a lot of artwork too. I love to paint, and so I do that.
Great. Well, that's about all the time we have for this episode. Is there any final comments you'd like to give to the viewers?
No, my prayers are out to all of the musicians and families that have been put on hold with this horrible COVID, and this pandemic has been hitting hard. And I just pray that we all come out of it, and continue to live life the best we can. I ask young musicians and artists to study their trade, study their craft, and try to be as versatile in their beginning stages of musicianship, and eventually they will find which one they really want to major in. But I think it's good to pick up on all styles.
All right. Okay, well, that concludes this episode of Ventura Rock Spot. Thank you, Louie. Thank you for being with us. It was a pleasure having you.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you, Jeff.
Great. And I'd also like to thank our producer, GWCProductions, and also our partners, OurVenturaTV and VenturaRocks.com. And thanks for all of you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.